This is the African News Update on Top Accolade News. It's been a week of tough choices and uneasy truces across the continent. From the ballot box to the boardroom, we are seeing a clear trend. The old guard is digging in and the people are pushing back. The question is, who will blink first? We've got 8 stories to answer that question. The headlines: Malawi votes in high-stakes election. Tanzania's Electoral Commission blocks main challenger to Suluhu. Zanu PF youth revolt overshadows Mnangagwa's 2030 endorsement. South Africa grants oil giant long-term access to Durban hub. We begin tonight in Malawi, where a high-stakes election is testing whether a nation can truly outrun its own political ghosts. Malawians headed to the polls on Tuesday to elect a president, parliament, and over 500 local councillors in the country's first national vote since the annulled 2019 election, which was rerun in 2020 and won by Lazarus Chakwera. Former President Peter Mutharika, his main challenger, has stirred controversy by selecting the ex-electoral chief, blamed for the flawed 2019 vote, as his running mate. With a new 50% plus one rule in place, analysts warn a runoff may be inevitable, setting up another fierce showdown between the two rivals. The election is more than a contest of power. It is a test of whether Malawi's fragile democracy can stand its own ghosts. The struggle for a transparent election in Malawi finds a chilling echo in Tanzania, where the Electoral Commission is now acting as a gatekeeper to power. Tanzania's Electoral Commission has barred opposition presidential candidate Luhaga Mpina of ACT Wazalendo for the second time, just days after a court reinstated his candidacy, leaving President Samia Suluhu Hassan virtually unchallenged in next month's election. With Chadema already sidelined, its leader Tundu Lissu jailed for treason, and right groups decrying a widening crackdown, the vote race becoming a one-party contest. In Tanzania today, ballots are being counted before they are ever cast. The political establishment in Tanzania is tightening its grip. Perhaps they are watching and taking note from elsewhere, because in Zimbabwe, a similar top-down approach has just met a boiling point of public anger. Tensions erupted at Zanu PF's Masholand West Inter-District Conference in Chihoye as angry youth booed Justice Minister Ziyambi, demanding land and livestock promised under government schemes. Despite failed attempts by senior officials to calm them, the gathering ended with a resolution backing President Emerson Mnangagwa's stay in power until 2030. The loudest message of the day, however, was not in support of leadership. It was the roar of a restless youth demanding delivery over rhetoric. The anger in Zimbabwe streets is about the failure of policy. And in South Africa, a new policy is being put in place to prevent a future failure that could have had devastating economic consequences. South Africa has extended lease agreement for major oil, including BP, Shell, and Vito, at Durban's Island View precinct, which handles 70% of the nation's fuel imports, ending years of dispute over short-term contracts that threaten supply stability. Transport Minister Barbara Creasy invoked Section 79 of the Ports Authority Act to fast-track the decision, paving the way for 25-year lease talks with Transnet. The move secures vital energy infrastructure, but also underscores how fragile South Africa's fuel lifeline has become. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria's finance ministry is taking a step back from a controversial levy to prevent economic harm. Nigeria's finance ministry has ordered the suspension of a 4% free on-board levy on imported goods introduced last month by the Customs Service after businesses warned it would fuel inflation, hurt trade competitiveness, and stall recovery efforts. Finance Minister Wale Edo said the pause allows for a review of the levy's framework to ensure a fairer revenue model. In a fragile economy battling inflation and currency volatility, the move signals that survival, not taxation, must come first. The policy move in Nigeria was about a domestic tax. The big news from Kenya is about a global partnership, one that could fundamentally change its energy landscape. Kenya has signed a landmark agreement with South Korea's Korea Atomic Energy Research Institute to advance nuclear research and development, reinforcing the Kenyan Nuclear Research Reactor Program under the Nuclear Power and Energy Agency. Inked during the IAEA General Conference in Vienna, the pact aligns with the Vision 2030 and aims to boost energy security, industry, and scientific innovation. For Kenya, this is more than a deal. It is a bold step towards nuclear age, where promises of clean power meet the weight of global responsibility. We now turn to a different kind of power, the power of culture, as a Nigerian chef makes history with the giant pot of jollof rice. Nigerian chef Hilda Baci has officially broken the Guinness World Record by cooking the largest pot of jollof rice in Lagos, weighing 8,780 kg and made with 4,000 kg of rice, 500 cartons of tomato paste, and 168 kg of goat's meat. Despite the giant custom-made pot buckling during the weigh-in, the dish was saved and later served with thousands of spectators. Baci, who previously held the cooking marathon record, hailed the feat as a symbol of unity and African pride. In Lagos, food wasn't just served, it became history in a pot. Finally, in sports, Tobi Amusan wins silver at Tokyo World Championship. Nigeria's Tobi Amusan claimed silver in the women's 100-meter hurdles at the 2025 World Athletics Championship in Tokyo, clocking 12.28 seconds. Returning to the city where she finished 4th in 2021, Amusan called the medal a triumph of perseverance and credited her coaches for the breakthrough. In Tokyo, she didn't just clear hurdles, she silenced her ghosts. From the track to the pools, this week has shown us that every challenge, every race, and every vote is more than a contest of power. It is a test of perseverance and a demand for a better tomorrow. I am Ojo Romeo Kocha, and this is the African News Update on Top Accolade News, keeping you connected to the pulse of the continent.